Jnanakosha, Puranas, Introduction.
सर्गच्च प्रतिसर्गच्च वंशो मन्वन्तराणि च वंशानुचरितं चैव पुराणं पञ्चलक्षणम्.
Matsya Purana. Chandra and Buddha. You forgot to tell us how Buddha was born, remarked the sages. Nor did you tell us anything about Chandra's birth. Lomaharshana filled in the blanks. The sage Atri was Brahma's son. Atri once performed very difficult tapasya. A tremendous amount of energy was released as a result of this meditation, and the moon god Chandra or Soma was born from his energy. Brahma appointed Chandra ruler over all stars, planets, and herbs. 27 of Daksha's daughters were married to Chandra. These were the nakshatra stars. Chandra performed a Rajasuya Yajna, royal sacrifice, and the ceremony was an outstanding success. But all this success, all and glory went to Chandra's head. The preceptor of the gods was the sage Brihaspati, and Brihaspati's wife was Tara. Chandra's eyes fell upon Tara and he forcibly abducted her. On several occasions, Brihaspati asked Chandra to return Tara, but the moon god would not listen. A terrible war then raged between the gods and demons over Tara. The gods fought on Brihaspati's side and the demons aided Chandra. Shiva also fought on the side of the gods. As the war raged, Shiva let fly a terrible divine weapon named Brahma Shirsha at Chandra. Chandra countered this with another terrible divine weapon named Somastra. These two weapons of destruction threatened to burn up the entire universe. Brahma decided that it was time for him to intervene. Stop this nonsense at once, he told Chandra. What you have done is most improper. Return Tara at once. These words ashamed Chandra and he returned Tara. But Chandra and Tara had already had a handsome son named Buddha. Buddha became very skilled in the handling of elephants. In fact, the knowledge of tackling and handling elephants goes back to Buddha. You already know that Buddha married Ila and that they had a son named Pururva. Pururva and Urvashi. Pururva was a very strong king who ruled the earth well. He performed 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas. The three goals of human life are dharma, righteousness, artha, wealth, and kama, that which is desired. These three goals wish to see which of them Pururva revered the most. They therefore adopted human forms and came to visit Pururva. Pururva treated them with utmost respect and gave them golden seats to sit on. He offered them all sorts of offerings, but in the process Dharma received more of the offerings than Ardha and Kama. This angered Ardha and Kama. You will be destroyed, Ardha cursed Pururva. You will go mad over Urvashi. Kama cursed Pururva, but Dharma blessed Pururva. You will live for long and you will never deviate from the righteous path, he said. Your descendants will rule forever. Having thus cursed and blessed Pururva, Dharma, Ardha and Kama disappeared. On one particular occasion, Pururva was driving his chariot through a forest. He suddenly found that a demon named Keshi was abducting an Apsara, dancer of heaven. This Apsara was none other than Urvashi. Pururva defeated the demon and rescued Urvashi. He restored her to Indra, the king of the gods. Indra was delighted at this act and Indra and Pururva became friends. The sage Bharata taught mankind how to sing and dance. To celebrate Urvashi's return, Indra asked Bharata to stage a performance. As artist, Bharata chose three Apsaras. They were Menaka, Urvashi and Rambha. Menaka and Rambha danced as they should, but Urvashi as attracted by King Pururva and kept looking at him. The result was that Urvashi fell out of step. This angered Bharata, and he cursed Urvashi that she would have to spend 55 years on earth. On earth, Urvashi married Pururva, and they had 8 sons named Ayu, Dhriya, Dayu, Ashvayu, Dhanayu, Dhritaman, Vasu, Suchvidya, and Satya. Yayati. In the lunar line, there was a king named Nahusha, and Nahusha's son was Yayati. Yayati had 2 wives, Sarmishta and Devyani. Sarmishta was the daughter of Vishwaparva, the king of the Danavas, and Devyani's father was Shukracharya, the preceptor of the demons. Devyani gave birth to Yadu and Suravasu, and Sarmishta gave birth to Dhrivya, Anu, and Puru. Yayati ruled the world extremely well for many years. He performed many yajnas. But eventually he grew old. The problem was that although Yayati grew old, he was not yet tired of sensual pleasure. He still desired to savor the joys that the world had to offer. Yayati told his 5 sons, "Because of Shukracharya's curse, an untimely old age has come upon me, and I am not content with what I have severed of life. I request one of you to give me his youth and accept my old age in return. When I have sated myself with worldly pleasures, I will take back my old age and return the youth." Except for Puru, the other 4 sons flatly refused such an exchange. They had no desire to part with their valued youth. They were thereupon cursed by their father. As for Puru, he said, "Please accept my youth and be happy. It is my duty to serve, and I will gladly take upon me your old age." For 1,000 years, Yayati savored the pleasures of the world with Puru's youth. 1,000 years were not then enough to satisfy Yayati. He accepted his old age and returned Puru's youth. He blessed Puru for his obedience and announced to the world that Puru was his only true son. Puru inherited the kingdom after Yayati. His descendants were known as the Pauravas. It was in this line that King Bharata was born. It is after Bharata that the land we live in is known as Bharatavarsha. The sages interrupted. "Lo Maharshana, you are going too fast," they said. "What is this curse of Shukracharya's that Yayati referred to? You have forgotten to tell us about that." "I will," replied Lo Maharshana. "But first let me tell you about Kacha and Devyani." Kacha and Devyani, the gods and the demons, fought with each other all the time. Brihaspati was the preceptor of the gods, and Shukracharya was the preceptor of demons. Shukracharya knew a wonderful art known as Mrityun Sanjeevani. This was the knowledge of bringing back dead people to life. Since Shukracharya knew this art, the gods were in a terrible fix. Any demons whom the gods killed were promptly brought back to life by Shukracharya. But Brihaspati knew no such art. So any gods that the demons killed stayed dead. The gods pondered about this problem and finally arrived at a solution. Brihaspati had a son named Kacha. The gods told Kacha, "Go and become Shukracharya's disciple. Try to learn the art of Mrityu Sanjeevani from him." Shukracharya had a beautiful daughter named Devyani. "Try to curry her favor so that your task may become easier." Kacha went to Shukracharya. "Please accept me as your disciple," he said. "I am the great Brihaspati's son. I will serve you faithfully for 1,000 years." Since no mention was made of Mrityu Sanjeevani, Shukracharya gladly agreed to his proposition. Kacha lived with Shukracharya and served his guru. He became friendly with Devyani, and Devyani started to fall in love with Kacha. 500 years passed. The demons got to know that Kacha was Brihaspati's son. Since they hated Brihaspati, they hated Kacha as well. Kacha was in the habit of taking Shukracharya's cattle to the forest to graze. When Kacha was alone in the forest, the demons seized their chance. They slew Kacha and fed his body to the tigers. In the evening, the cattle returned home alone. Kacha was not with them. Seeing this, Devyani told her father, "The cattle have returned home without Kacha. I am certain that someone has killed him. I am in love with Kacha and cannot survive without him. Please do something." "Do not worry," Shukracharya told Devyani. "I'll bring Kacha back to life with the art of Mritya Sanjeevani." As soon as Shukracharya recited the magical mantra incantation, Kacha appeared before them, hale and healthy. Days passed. Kacha went to the forest once more, this time to pluck flowers. The demons killed him again, but this time they burnt the dead body and mixed the ashes in a goblet of wine. They then served the wine to Shukracharya to drink. When Kacha did not return, Devyani again told her father, "I am certain that someone has killed Kacha. I cannot survive without him. Please do something." Through his power, Shukracharya discovered what had happened. He told his daughter, "We have a real problem on our hand. Kacha is inside my stomach. I can revive Kacha by summoning him through Mritya Sanjeevani, but in the process he will have to tear asunder my body and I shall die. Tell me, beloved daughter, which do you want? Either Kacha or your father will live." "I refuse the choice," replied Devyani. "Both you and Kacha must live. I cannot survive without either." Shukracharya then decided that there was only one way out. He addressed Kacha, who was inside his stomach, and taught him the words of the Mritya Sanjeevani mantra. He then recited the words himself, and out came Kacha. Shukracharya's body was torn apart and the sage died. But Kacha had learned the words of the mantra. He now recited them to bring Shukracharya back to life. Kacha thus learnt what he had set out to achieve. After spending 1,000 years with Shukracharya, he prepared to return to heaven. "Where are you going?" asked Devyani. "Do you know that I am in love with you? Please marry me." "I am afraid that I cannot do that," replied Kacha. "You are my Guru's daughter, therefore you are my superior, just as my Guru is my superior. I cannot marry you. Moreover, I have spent some time inside his body, and when I came out it was as if a son had been born from him. You are therefore my sister. How can I possibly marry you?" Thus spooned, Devyani became very angry. "You are playing with words," she said. "I curse you that although you have learnt the art of Mritya Sanjeevani, it will prove to be of no use to you." "You have needlessly cursed me," retorted Kacha. "I too curse you that no Brahmin will ever marry you, and that you will never get whatever it is that you wish for." Sarmishta and Devyani. Sarmishta was the daughter of Vishwakarma, the king of Danavas. Sarmishta and Devyani were great friends. Until Indra played some mischief, the two friends had gone to bathe in a pond and had left their clothes on the bank. Indra adopted the form of a breeze and mixed up the clothes. When Sarmishta donned her clothes after having had her bath, she put on Devyani's clothes by mistake. Devyani said, "How dare you wear my clothes? My father is your father's teacher, and you are my inferior in every respect. You have no business to put on my clothes." "I am not your inferior," replied Sarmishta. "It is you who are my inferior. My father is the king, and your father thrives on my father's generosity." The two friends started to quarrel. Sarmishta flung Devyani into a well and left her there, taking her to be dead. At that time, King Yayati came to the forest on a hunt. He was thirsty and looked for some water. When he found the well, he discovered Devyani inside it. He rescued Devyani. Yayati also fell in love with her, so that the two got married. Shukracharya got to know about all this and was furious at the treatment that Sarmishta had meted out to his daughter. he threatened to leave the demons. Vrishvaparva did his best to persuade Shukracharya not to leave them, but Shukracharya insisted that he would stay only if Devyani was pacified. Vishwaparva promised to give Devyani whatever it was that she wished for. Sarmishta has insulted me, said Devyani. She has called me her inferior. My mind will be set at rest only if Sarmishta serves as a servant. Vishwaparva agreed to this condition and Sarmishta became Devyani's servant together with 1,000 other demon women. After Yayati and Devyani got married, Shukracharya told Yayati, Sarmishta is Devyani's servant and you are married to Devyani. Under no circumstances marry Sarmishta, otherwise I am going to curse. In due course, Devyani gave birth to Yadu and Turvasu. Sarmishta had secretly married Yayati and she too gave birth to Dhruvya, Anu and Kuru. How came you to have sons? Asked Devyani. Who is your husband? My husband is a Brahmin, replied Sarmishta. I do not know his name, but when Devyani asked Dhruvya, Anu and Puru about their father, the truth came out. They told her that they were King Yayati's sons. You have insulted me, Devyani told Yayati. Will remain your wife no longer. You have married my servant. Shukracharya was also furious. Yayati had gone against his wishes and had married Sarmishta. Shukracharya cursed Yayati that old age would set upon the king, although he was still in the prime of youth. Please do not curse me, said Yayati. I am married to your daughter. I wish to live with her as her husband. Do you wish your son-in-law to be an old servant? My curse cannot be lifted, replied Shukracharya, but I will try and mitigate the effects. I grant you the power that you can pass on this old age to whomever you wish. It was this old age that Puru accepted. Matsya Sanjeevani. But what about Matsya Sanjeevani? Asked the sages. You haven't told us how Shukracharya came to acquire this wonderful knowledge. Lomaharshana told them the following story. The gods and the demons fought all the time, and the demons were sometimes worsted in these encounters. Shukracharya consoled the demons. Do not worry, he said. I will try and acquire powers that will make the demons invincible. I am going off to pray. While I am gone, do not fight with the gods. Give up arms and lead the lives of hermits. Wait till my return. Shukracharya's father was the sage Bhrigu. The demons were instructed to wait in Bhrigu's hermitage for Shukracharya's return. The preceptor or the demons began to pray to Shiva. When Shiva appeared, Shukracharya told him that he wished to be taught a mantra that would make the demons invincible. I will grant your request, said Shiva, but you will have to observe a difficult vrata, religious rite. For 1,000 years you will have to meditate and you will have to live only on smoke. Shukracharya agreed to observe the vrata. Meanwhile, the gods got to know that Shukracharya was up to. They realized that once Shukracharya returned, they would be in no position to tackle the demons. The best thing to do was to attack the demons immediately. When they had given up arms and were living on hermits, the demons tried to tell the gods that this was not fair. They should not be attacked when they had forsaken arms. But the gods would not listen. They started to kill the demons. The demons fled to Shukracharya's mother, Bhrigu's wife, for protection. Do not despair, she assured the demons. I will protect you. When the gods attacked, the lady used her power to make Indra completely immobile. Indra could not move at all. He stood there like a statue. This strange sight unnerved the gods so much that they started to run away. Vishnu came to help Indra. He told Indra to enter his body so that Vishnu might be able to save him. I will burn both of you up through my powers, said Shukracharya's mother. What are you waiting for? Indra asked Vishnu. Can't you see that this woman will destroy us both? Kill her at once. Vishnu summoned up his Sudarshan chakra, and with this he neatly severed the lady's head. The sage Bhrigu was not present at that time. When he returned and found out what had happened, he was greatly angered. Vishnu had committed the crime of killing a woman. Bhrigu therefore cursed Vishnu that he would have to be born several times on earth. These are Vishnu's avatars, incarnations. As for his own wife, Bhrigu resurrected her through his powers. Indra had a daughter named Jayanti. Having failed in his attempt to kill the demons, Indra reasoned that he ought to try and disturb Shukracharya's meditation. He therefore sent Jayanti to the place where Shukracharya was praying. Her instructions were to try and distract the sage. Jayanti served Shukracharya faithfully throughout the appointed period of 1,000 years. When the vrata was over, Shiva appeared before Shukracharya and taught him the art of Mritya Sanjeevani. It was then that Shukracharya noticed Jayanti. "Who are you?" he asked, "and why have you been serving me thus? I am exceedingly pleased with what you have done. Tell me what I can do for you." "If you wish to grant me a boon, marry me and live as my husband for 10 years, replied Jayanti. Shukracharya was lured away by Jayanti. Indra was bent upon ensuring the destruction of the demons, and he now hit upon a plan. He asked Brihaspati to adopt Shukracharya's form and go to the demons. The demons were expecting their guru back after the 1,000 years were over and took Brihaspati to be Shukracharya. They honored him and served him faithfully. When the 10 years with Jayanti were over, Shukracharya returned and discovered Brihaspati among the demons. "Who is this upstart?" he demanded to know. "Give him up and seek refuge with me. I am the real Shukracharya." "Not at all," replied Brihaspati. "I am the real Shukracharya." The demons were bemused. Brihaspati and Shukracharya were as alike as two peas in a pod. There was no way of telling them apart. They finally reasoned that the person who had been living with them for the last 10 years must be their real guru. They therefore accepted Brihaspati and showed Shukracharya away. Shukracharya cursed the demons that they were bound to be destroyed. As soon as Shukracharya cursed the demons, Brihaspati adopted his own form. The demons realized that they had been tricked, but the harm had been done.